Good morning, students. I welcome you to another maths lesson. But today we're going to be solving past examination questions in mathematics on the topic algebra. We'll be solving 10 different past questions drawn from different schools across Nigeria. So these 10 questions we're going to be solving now is cut across different subtopics on the topic algebra. I'd like you to pay attention and listen attentively. The first question here says, if m squared plus 64 is equal to 185, find the value of m. This question was gotten from National Common Entrance year 2025, question 27. Solution: we write out the question: m squared plus 64 equal to 185. This is a typical algebraic equation question, and the first thing we do here is to collect like terms. We collect like terms. So the family of m will be on one side of the equation, and the family of whole numbers will be on the other side of the equation. So 64 crossing over to the other side of the equation becomes minus 64. The equality sign changes to a plus sign. So 64 crossing the equality sign, this equality sign changes from plus 64 to minus 64. So we then have m squared, we'll be left with m squared on this side of the equation will be equal to 185 minus 64. M squared will be equal to 121. The question says find the value of m, so we have to get rid of the square. Mathematically, the only way we can get rid of this square is to find the square root of both sides. The presence of the equality sign, whatever we do to this side of the equation, we must as well do to the other side of the equation. So we are finding the square root of both sides, and square root automatically cancels the square, because square root of m squared will be left with m, and m is equal to 11. That's our answer here. Option E. The next question, question 2 says, what is the value of x in the equation 5x plus 6 minus 2x minus 9 equal to 30? What is the value of x in the equation 5x plus 6 minus 2x minus 9 equal to 30? This question was drawn from Navy, year 2022, question 26. As you can see, writing out the equation out before solving, we have here 5x plus 6 minus 2x minus 9 equal to 30. The first thing we do here, this is also an example of a typical algebraic equation question, is to collect like terms. When we mean collect like terms, all families of x will be on the left-hand side of the equation, and the families of whole numbers, all whole numbers, will be on the other side of the equation after the equality sign. So all numbers carrying x will be on this side of the equation. So plus 6 is moving to 30 and is moving with its positive sign, which will change to minus 6. And minus 9 is also going to move across the equality sign, and it will become plus 9. So what we have left here in the equation is 5x minus 2x will be equal to 30 minus 6 plus 9. We solve for that. 5x minus 2x is 3x. 30 minus 6 is 24, and 24 plus 9 is 33. So we have 3x equal to 33. The question says, find the value of x. So we need to get rid of 3. And the only way mathematically we can get rid of 3 is by dividing both sides by 3. If you divide both sides by 3, if you divide both sides by 3, 3 cancels 3 here and we're left with x. And 3 divides 33, you have 11. So therefore, our x will be equal to 11. And that gives us option A as the answer. Let's move over to question 3. Question 3 says, I read, given that R is equal to 4, S is equal to 3, and T is equal to 2, find the value of 3R plus 2S minus T divided by 2. This question was drawn from State Common Entrance year 2022, question 26. So solution, we write out the question, 3R plus 2S minus T all divided by 2. This is a typical example of a substitution question in algebra. Why? Because we are going to be substituting numbers for the letters. The question says, given that R is equal to 4, S is equal to 3, and T is equal to 2. So wherever we see R, we put in 4. Wherever we see S, we put 3 in place. And wherever we see T in the question, we put 2 in place of T. So what this means is that this will be 3R. 3R means 3 times R. So this will be 3 times 4, all in bracket, plus 2 times 3, let's put this in bracket, minus 2, all divided by what? 2. Solving this further, we have here 3 times 4, 12 plus 6 minus 2, all divided by 2. 12 plus 6 is 18. 18 minus 2, 16 divided by 2. And that gives us 2 here, 1. 2 divided by 16 is equal to 8. So our final answer is equal to what? 8. And that's option B. We have option B as final answer. Yeah. So we move on to question 4. Question 4 says, and I read, if S is equal to half ft squared, find T when S is equal to 1 whole number 1 over 4 and F is equal to 10. If S is equal to half ft squared, find T when S is equal to 1 whole number 1 over 4 and F is equal to 10. This question was drawn from St. Francis Jesuit College exams, year 2022-2023, question 42. So our solution, this is a typical question on substitution in algebra. And we're going to write out the question which says, if S is equal to half ft squared, we're asked to find T. So we do not know what T is, but we have S to be equal to 1 whole number 1 over 4, and we have F to be equal to 10. So this question says we should find T. So we're going to be substituting S for 1 whole number 1 over 4 and substituting F for 10. We'll do that first of all. So in place of S, we're going to be writing 1 whole number 1 over 4. That's it. Equal to half, and F is 10. This means half times F times T squared. So this will be half times 10 times t squared all over 1. So let's convert this to improper fraction. We're going to be having 5 over 4. 4 times 1 is 4 plus 1, 5. 5 over 4 equal to, looking at this, 2 can divide here and 2 can divide 10 to give us 5, equal to 5t squared all over 1. This has become two fractions facing each other with an equality sign. The only way we can solve this in algebra is to do what? Cross multiply. We cross multiply. When I mean cross multiply, 4 will multiply 5t squared and 5 will multiply 1. So the numerator of 1 multiplies the denominator of the other fraction, and the denominator of the opposite fraction multiplies the numerator of the other. We just follow the arrow, the way the arrow goes. So we have here 20t squared equal to 5. The question says find t, not t squared. So we're going to first of all, get rid of 20 and we'll be left with t squared. So the only way mathematically we can get rid of 20 that is attached to t squared is by dividing both sides by 20. So we'll divide both sides by 20. Let me put it here so you can see it. Divide both sides by 20. So divided by 20 and divided by 20. So 20 cancels out and we're left with t squared. 5 goes here 1, 5 goes here 4. So we are left with t squared equal to 1 over 4. The question still says find t. So this is not our final answer. The question says find t and not t squared. So we need to get rid of this square. Mathematically, how do we get rid of this square? Is by what? Finding the square root of what? Both sides. So to get rid of this square here, we have to what? Find the square root of both sides. The square root of both sides. So finding the square root of both sides, square roots here cancels square, or the square root of t squared is t. And the square root of a quarter, that's 1 over 4, is, we'll take it one by one. Square root of 1 is 1, and the square root of 4 is 2. So that leaves us with t equal to half as our final answer. And that is, we'll find it in option C. So we're done with question 4. Moving on to question 5. I read, expand the expression b plus d all in brackets square. Expand the expression b plus d square. This is a typical question gotten from command, year 2020, question 22. And this is an example of expansion, an expansion question in algebra, where you have to expand this. Students, b plus d all square is the same thing as b plus d bracket b plus d. This means b plus d written twice the normal square. Square means multiplying a number by itself. So this is like we are multiplying everything in this bracket by itself. This more like a multiplication in between the brackets. So we're going to take it step by step. In opening a bracket or in expanding, we're going to simply do this. B will multiply everything in this bracket, will multiply everything here. So we're going to take it one by one. B will multiply B and B will multiply D. D, then D multiplies B and D multiplies D. This is exactly what I mean. B times B, B times B bracket plus B times D. Just so this, I'll do this. B times B and B times D. And then D times B and D times D. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So this will be plus D times B plus D times D. All addition. So solving this, B times B is B square plus B times D is BD plus D times B, writing it chronologically in the order of the alphabet, is BD also, plus D times D is D square. Yeah, so we can simplify further. This becomes B squared plus BD plus BD. They are both like terms. 2BD becomes 2BD plus D square. Looking at this, we can simplify further because they are all unlike terms. So this leaves us as our final answer. We have simplified this expression to the last. And we find this in option C. Yeah, that's our answer. So that is that for question 5. So moving on to question 6. We have here, question 6 says, expand the brackets and simplify the equation. 3 into bracket parenthesis x minus 2 plus bracket x plus 2 minus bracket minus 4x plus 1 equal to 0. Question 6 says, expand the brackets and simplify the equation. 3 into bracket x minus 2 plus bracket x plus 2 bracket closed minus, in parentheses or in brackets, minus 4x plus 1 equal to 0. Please take note of the signs. In algebra, the signs are very important. Take note of the signs. So this question was drawn from St. Francis Jesuit exams. Question 42, year 2019-2022 past examination question. Solution. Writing out this equation carefully, we have 3 into bracket x minus 2 plus x plus 2 minus 4x plus 1 equal to 0. Take a look at this. We're going to be opening the brackets. This is a simple question on opening the brackets in algebra. So first things first, when you want to open a bracket in an algebra, in a typical algebra question, take note of 2 things. Whatever is outside the bracket multiplies what's inside the bracket. It could be a number, it could be a sign. Now, a number, if it's a number, the number multiplies everything inside the bracket. If it's a sign, the sign multiplies everything inside the bracket. Now, if it's a positive sign, the sign in the bracket does not change. But if it's a negative sign, all the signs in the bracket changes. So take note of that while we solve. So let's multiply this by 3. This will be 3 times x. I'll expand it. 3 times x, 3 times minus 2, plus times x, this will be plus x plus 2, minus times minus 4x will give us plus 4x, minus times plus 1 will give us minus 1, all equal to 0. So let's write this out. This will be 3x minus 6 plus x plus 2 plus 4x minus 1 equal to 0. Yes, so we have more or less like an algebraic equation. So the next thing we do here is to collect like terms. Collect like terms. Let us bring the families of x together and whole numbers to the other side of the equation. So this is going to move to become -2, and -1 moving over to become +1. So all whole numbers move to the other side of the equation, which is after the equality sign. And remember, once a number crosses the equality sign, the sign it carries changes. So +2 changes to -2, and -1 changes to +1. So what we have left here is also -6 is also moving. Hope we didn't forget -6. -6 is also going to move. It will become +6. So what we have left will be 3x plus 4x equal to 0 plus 6 plus 1 minus 2. So this will be 7x equal to 6 plus 1, which is 7 plus 1 minus 2. So we have here 8x. 6 plus 1 is 7. 7 minus 2 is what? 5. So the question says simplify the equation. So we're having here 8x is equal to 5. And we can see that in option D. So that leaves us with our final answer. 8x is equal to 5. Option D. If you look at the question says simplify. It didn't say find the value of x. So we have to take note of that. It says simplify. So we have simplified it to 8x is equal to 5. And we can see it right there in the option D. So let's take note of this. This is 3x plus x plus 4x. So 3x plus 4x plus x is the same thing, and that's how we got 8x. And then 0 plus 6 plus 1 minus 2, and that's how we arrived at 5. So this is a typical question on expansion in algebra, more or less like opening up the brackets. So moving on to question 7. Yeah, we have something like this. If 4 over x is equal to 2 over 3, what is the value of x over 2? If 4 over x is equal to 2 over 3, what is the value of x divided by 2? This question was got from National Common Entrance year 2024, question 29. Solution, we have 4 over x equal to 2 over 3. When we see questions like this in algebra, two fractions with an unknown value represented by a letter, the only way we solve this mathematically is by doing what we cross multiply. Cross multiply. The numerator of 1 multiplies the denominator of the other fraction, of the opposite fraction. So this numerator multiplies the denominator of the opposite fraction, and the numerator of this fraction here multiplies the denominator of the opposite fraction. That is what we mean by cross multiplying. So this then, solving this, we have 4 times 3 equal to 2 times x. So this is 4 times 3 is 12. 2 times x is equal to 2x. So let's get the value of x first of all. So finding x, we have to divide both sides by 2. So our x is equal to 6. X is equal to 6. But we know that the question says find the value of x over 2. So whatever your x is, x over 2 will become 6 divided by 2. And that will give us what? 3. Is this clear? Let's take note of our questions. The question didn't say find x. If you stop here, you get it wrong. The question says find x over 2. So therefore, x over 2 is equal to 3. So, but we have to first of all get the value of x. If x is 6, then x over 2 will be the value of x divided by 2. And that's how we arrive at 3. And we'll see that in option A as our answer. So let's take note. Moving on to question 8. I read question 8. Simplify minus 10p squared divided by 2q divided by 5r raised to power 3. Simplify minus 10p q raised to power 2 divided by 2q, then divided by 5r raised to power 3. This question was gotten from St. Francis Jesuit question year 2019-2022, question 27. So we have here, let's bring this out. We have here minus 10p q squared all over 2q all divided by 5r raised to power 3. Okay, looking at this, now this is more like division in algebra, where we'll have to expand and then divide. So by looking at this, first of all, simplifying this further, because we have to simplify this, this is also equal to minus 10pq squared divided by 2q. Division sign, this division sign changes to multiplication, and we write the inverse of, you know this is all over 1. So we're going to write the inverse of this fraction here. This will be 5r raised to power 3. So looking at this, 2 can divide 2 here 1. 2 can divide 10 to give us 5. And 1q can cancel 1q up here. So 1q cancels this square, we're left with one of this. Then looking at this, 5 can divide itself 1, and 5 can divide here to give us 1. And then 1q here cancels out 1q here. So we'll be left with what? Q square. Q square. So no longer q raised to power 3, we'll have what? Q raised to power 2. So let's write out what we have left. This will be minus p times 1 all over q square. So this is minus p over 1. And what we have here will be what? Minus p all divided by what? Q square. That's our answer. Okay. We have rq square. Sorry, we're not forgetting this rq square. Rq square. So our final answer is minus p divided by rq square. And we'll find that in option C. That gives us our final answer. So moving on to question 9. I read, this is more or less like word problem in algebra. So I read, I subtracted 15 from a certain number and then divide by 3. The result is the same as adding 4 to the number and dividing by 2. What is the number? Solution. Word problem in algebra. We're going to understand the statement line by line and solve. Now, the first line says, I subtracted 15 from a certain number. We do not know that certain number. So let's assign a letter to that number. We can say, let the unknown number be y. Let the unknown number be y. So if you say I subtracted 15 from a certain number, so that's y, because you subtracted 15 from this number, unknown number. So that will be y minus 15 and not 15 minus y, because you subtracted 15 from the number. So that's y minus 15. And then divide by 3. The result, that means the answer, is the same as adding 4 to the number. The answer is the same as adding 4 to the unknown number. And dividing by 2. What is the number? Find y. So we have just written out this word problem. We have written it into an algebraic equation. Can you see it? So this is more like a fraction, two fractions facing each other, and we have to solve for y. So what we just need to do is to cross multiply as it is. So we have here 2 will multiply y minus 15 equal to 3 multiplying y plus 4. So we have to open the brackets. This will be 2 times y, 2y. 2 times minus 15 will give us minus 30 equal to 3 times y, that's 3y. 3 times 4 will be plus 12. So the next thing we do here is to do what? Collect like terms. We have to collect like terms. Collecting like terms, who is moving? Let 2y remain here. So plus 3y will come over to meet 2y, and it will become minus 3y. And minus 30 will come over to meet 12, and will become what? Plus 30. So what we have here will now be 2y minus 3y equal to 12 plus 30. So this is minus y will be equal to what? 42. The question says, what is the number? So dividing both sides by minus so that we can get rid of the number. Minus, so our answer y will be equal to minus 42. So that's option A as our answer. Minus 42. So moving on to number 10, which is the last question. We have here, express 2 over 5s minus 4 over 7s as a single fraction. Solution. We'll find this question in St. Francis. That's Jesuit exams, year 2020-2021 question 51. 2 over 5s minus 4 over 7s. So this is more like a fraction. So we'll solve it as a fraction. So we're going to find the LCM of the denominators. First of all, find the LCM of the denominators. Find the LCM of the denominators. Five s and 7x. So we'll simply multiply the two. So that's like 5s times 7x, and we're having 35s squared. So the LCM here will be 35s raised to the power 2. So just like as if you're solving subtraction or fraction, we do the same way. We do the same thing. So 35s squared divided by 5s will be left with 7s. 7s times 2, 7s. So this is what we'll do. You divide and then you multiply. So 35s squared by 7s, 7x times 2, 7s times 2 is what will be left here, minus 35s squared divided by this 7s is 5s. And that will be 5s times 4. So let's write this out. This will be 14s minus 20s. All divided by what? 35s squared. So this will be left with 14x minus 20x is minus 6x all over 35s squared. So what can cancel out? One s here cancels out one x here. So we are left with minus 6 divided by 35s. So that gives us our final answer because we can't simplify any further. So our final answer is minus 6 all divided by 35x, and we'll find that in option C. Yeah, so we have been able to solve 10 different questions on algebra, and I hope you understood and paid attention. If you have any questions, feel free to drop your questions in the comments, and I'll try to answer them. If you have enjoyed this class, share it with your friends, and I'll see you in our next class. Bye.